Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna win.
All right, and you got you
This is this one's actually.
I'm not sure what you were trying to do, but he pretty much just slipped off that rock and fell. Let me roll a d12.
He didn't just fall in place, he fell down. How tall is the rock?
Probably
7.
30 feet.
He fell off the back.
So he's out for a while.
Oh, perfect spot.
No, he's not out. I got to roll. What is?
Well, how tall is the rock?
It's only like 10 feet.
Well, that's a pretty good fall.
So that would be
Yeah,
6 points of damage in
I was-
Pathfinder.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say, isn't there a roll for that?
Yeah, it's a D6 per 10 feet. Since we don't use rolls, it would be 6.
I just wanted
Snaps
to
his
be.
neck and dies.
I've identified the one we want to capture. He snaps his neck and dies.
That's us.
That's,
Right
I
on.
mean, I saw him on a rock and I immediately thought, oh, well, we should probably kill him first. He's got the high ground.
All right, Tima, you are up.
I have the high ground.
That
Oh,
guy.
this just
I had the high ground.
Yeah.
I now have the low ground. I missed the high ground. I am going to run up and try to pin the guy to the ground and
has my camera been off all night?
What?
Has my camera been off all night?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
well,
no.
not all night.
Not all night, but a big chunk of it.
Let me go. I got a connection. Bad sometimes.
What was that?
That's better.
I thought it was my service. Yeah, I'm gonna run up to him and try to pin him down and kind of intimidate him with lightning.
Well, we're talking about
Stay down
cameras.
and
How long
stay
have you
away.
been a Smurf, Don?
It is a picture of me.
Why does that sound so plausible?
I was in that costume.
All right. I'm sorry, Luke. I was distracted. So you're gonna just attempt to do what?
You
now?
try to run up and keep him pinned or keep him on the ground and like intimidate him with lightning if possible. Just tell him to be quiet.
Okay, so that is going to be a influence, unless you actually have something like intimidate. I don't think you do though. So just it's in mind influence.
Bad.
Is it red? No, here you go.
I think the fact that he probably looks like the emperor with like lightning going between his eyes and stuff like that, that would probably help with that influence.
But help just a bit.
Yeah, okay, he's not going anywhere. He just fell off a rock and got hurt pretty bad, and he will put his hands up and not move.
Perfect. Hopefully nobody sees the crackling electricity behind the rock.
Oh, don't get to do my dance.
All right, Balthazar,
Summer storm.
we're up.
I'm gonna walk half my movement up to here. So I'm shooting this guy. Okay, when I click the button,
Yeah, there's a, you got an error. Hang on, let me look at your thing. I figured I'd make one or more mistakes.
I don't think anybody complained. You just did all of our macros for us.
right, yeah, I'm not complaining at all.
I wish that Les would do all of our macros for us.
Yeah, I'm creating monsters, I'm afraid. So you did a longbow, right?
Well, I just clicked the button to get to it, then that's when the error popped up.
Really?
Yeah, I was gonna do, so yeah, it was the initial button push that did it.
All right, well, are you close? You're close, aren't you?
Yeah,
30 feet. So that is a,
that's why I moved up to get to within 30 feet and then,
yeah, D6 plus 17. Just give me a roll. I'm gonna have to do some research, try to figure out what the heck's wrong with that. But it's a D6 plus 17 and then re-roll sixes if you make a 6. Which actually he rolled, huh. Yeah, because of his negatives, you're gonna beat him no matter what you do. So you got him.
I need another D6, right?
What's that?
Do I need
Oh, yeah,
another
you need
D6 to
another
see what
D6.
happens?
Yep.
So 6.
8 and 8, 16. Yeah, you drop him.
Nice.
Gets an arrow in the back of his neck and he goes down.
My rabbit. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, Ming.
See, my movement is. So if I move up to here, I'm not giving up cover, right?
Nope.
Okay, so I'm gonna move to here. And then I guess by the time I get here, I see this guy get an arrow through the back of his throat, so sneaking up no longer seems that important. But that's kind of the end of my turn.
Okay. Mob, you are up and they're all turning around and looking right at you.
Yeah, so basically I ran up to here, just as an arrow took one guy out, and I say, drop all your weapons and surrender. You are heavily outnumbered. If you wish to, drop everything if you wish to survive.
Well, the rest of you are getting arrows in your throat.
Yeah, you better hurry because my friends are a little trigger happy. They're taking you out. The guy on the rock is down. This guy's down.
And you haven't met our half orc friend yet. Oh, the orc.
That's it. I moved to there and I got the glaive. I'm trying to kind of like, twirling it around and
Yeah, you see the guy closest to you kind of look over up to the rock, see that the guy that was supposed to be keeping watch is gone. Then he kind of looks over into the woods and doesn't see anything happening there. So he gives a couple flowery words and drops his sword and doesn't move.
smart man. Don't shoot the unarmed people. I yelled that out loud.
Talking to us or to them?
All right, Llama, one more time. This ambush.
Both
strike.
sides listen just as well.
We're coming with you.
Where's the line at so we can tell Llama to go there?
No, where's the pile at?
That's
Great.
you're right.
Over
Where's
here.
the corpse wall so we can tell
Yes, got it. Where's
Llama
the
where to
file?
go?
Well, this didn't last that long. Yeah, they're all gonna not move anymore, and they are standing there with their arms up.
Step over by the large rock. I direct them to stand over here. Yep. Brother, come on out. You did a great job.
Leave me alone.
Only the brother. Everybody
Which
else.
one's the
staying
most annoying brother? The annoying brother who's always just like
Somebody always
depressed and like a
drop it.
weight, or the one who's
Yeah.
just overly joyous all the time?
Oh, the overly joyous one is more annoying.
behind the rock is still on it.
It's kind of proving
Shot
to
it
be a
up.
possibility.
All right, so we can drop out of initiative here, turn order.
Yep. Llama, come on out and,
Oh, actually,
watch
we
them. I'm
gotta-
going to collect their weapons over here. And
We got to finish that. Llama, you got one more. Give me one more attack real quick. You got to kill this. This ambush
Yeah.
drake's not going to surrender. He's
He's an ambush drake.
Yeah,
he's an ambush drake. Yep.
so beat a 14 and you'll get him. You'll get him.
Yay.
There you go.
say it.
And look at that. Now I get the 6 too. Woo.
She slices, she dices, she makes julienne fries.
I should be the ninja.
Move the pile to here.
I'm gonna come over here and say, hey, I started a pile.
Good job. Good job.
I'm gonna high
Actually,
five
you know
her.
what?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I
drag
started
the
mine
ambush.
too.
I'm gonna drag the ambush Drake with me and lay him down in front of my feet and say I started the pile.
Llama, you can go ahead and put this one on that pile if you want.
I will do that.
Just haul in the ambush Drake.
All right. so you
Okay,
got a
who's
bunch
the
of
smart
guys,
one here?
guys.
Ming, are you the smart one?
Not really.
Not it.
You really
No
have
thanks.
Brother,
you really have intelligence. That's like
Can you keep
my
your
brother's
voice
extremely
down?
smart. He's the smartest guy I know. Go ahead and interrogate these guys.
Keep your voice down. You're embarrassing.
Really, your guys' lead man is the depressed goth? Seriously?
Hey,
All
I
right.
still got the guy on the ground. currently.
he's so depressing. You might want to just spill your guts just to get away from him.
I tried to
Guys.
influence them.
There's no point to
Like Noah
life.
stuff.
So just give my stupid brother whatever he wants. It's barely better than being dead.
It's barely better than being dead.
Great. Our wizard is Eeyore.
Thanks
See,
for
I know he's
noticing.
not really like that. He is
What?
the life of the party. My brother is awesome.
What party? The one in the graveyard?
Yeah.
So Baltzar influenced him. He's still got the bow in his hand, which might be helping.
Oh,
Yeah, they're pretty intimidated at this point.
Can I lead the one that I have pinned to the ground to the other side of the rock?
Yeah, he doesn't really want to move, but you can kind of coerce him a little bit and get him to go around there.
I mean, I can grab the back of his head and say, I can just push all of the electricity that was in my hand momentarily into your head if you do not move here.
Yikes. That's
well, at
pretty
this point,
intimidating.
he fell off a rock. He has 3 bulging discs. So
Yeah, I mean, whatever I do to him next is probably going to kill him, but you know,
He
be much more
wants over there.
horrified of that.
Did you see where he went to? He went around the rock to the side.
I got the other one.
Okay. I guess he'll keep going and go sit by the other guys.
You can sit on my pile. I'll smile and say,
Good job, Llama.
proud of that pile, I have to say. Definitely hit on something, Taima.
So what exactly are we going to be asking these folks?
what were the questions we needed
5
answers
questions.
Hey,
to?
why?
Miss Elizabeth?
Where are the cultists? How many are there? Who are their leaders? When is their next attack? And why are they attacking?
What were they looking for in the town?
That's not included.
Well, I meant
Well, we can add that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here.
And if they don't answer right away, we're going to kill the toughest looking one.
Oh, you might as well answer them or I'm going to give you permanent hemorrhoids and let you live.
wait.
Ouch.
Yeah. So
I was just thinking of Firefly, where he takes the big badass guy and asks him a question. He says, "Fuck you." He kicks him into the jet engine, and the next guy spills his guts.
Yeah.
That was a classic scene.
That was
What's that from?
Firefly.
Firefly.
Oh, that was a great show.
Really good show.
It was.
yeah.
Died before its time.
So the first one to properly answer the questions does not get fed to the half-orc.
Right.
These guys are not real high morale or anything. They won't. They'll tell you what they know. So
they argue about who gets to tell us first everything we want.
No, I want to go. I want to go.
So they'll tell you basically what Syax has already said as far as the camp is a couple miles down. You can just follow the tracks. They don't really know how many there are, maybe 300 to 500 leaders. They have always dealt with Leo, no, not Leo. So hang on a second. I need to make a cheat sheet with all these names. I'm not good with names like Les is.
He's not either. He's got cheat sheets all over.
He has cheat sheets.
He's got
yes.
like 3 sheets in front of him at all times.
Yeah.
He's just better at the illusion.
I think half the times he just comes up with a name and we have to remember it.
We wouldn't know the difference half the time. And Mike might.
Random
Mike's good
consonants
with
and
that.
vowels, you'll come up with a good fantasy name.
Okay, there is a leader in the camp called Rezmir,
How do you spell that?
Rezmir.
Oh,
Okay.
Is that a person?
It's a half dragon.
Okay.
He's a high-ranking official in the cult of the dragon.
In the cult.
Is that the half dragon that Llama fought earlier? Did we catch his name?
Oh, the one that.
With
we
that
beat the
question,
fin-
that these guys suddenly realize who you are. And you can kind of see they're all like quaking in their boots now because they realize that Llama's the one that dropped the half dragon.
Oh boy.
Then they'll say, no, this is not the same. This is not the same half dragon. This is a black half dragon. He's very high up. We don't talk to him.
Okay.
Are black dragons usually more powerful than blue dragons?
All depends on the age.
The other primary leader at the camp is a guy named Frulam,
How do you spell that?
Frulam. And he's also he's a purple robe guy. He's one of the high-ranking leaders. But these guys don't really know much about either of those two. They're not really high enough to be able to tell you much more than they know their names. Maybe
What's
they know they're in the camp.
Fulam's race?
Frulam is, I believe, human.
Okay.
Yes, human.
Sounds good.
You actually, Frulam is the one that got pointed out to you when you were standing at the top of the tower. I mean, you were far away and the fires were kind of made everything kind of blurry, but there was a guy in a purple robe that was at greenest
Okay.
that I think the Castellan pointed out as the leader.
Nice.
I don't
Nice.
remember if he remembered his name, but he is a human. They have no idea when the next attack is or who they're attacking.
Or what they were looking for in town.
They were looting. All they were doing was they're
Just
trying,
looting. Okay.
They're trying to gather treasure for dragons.
Well, should we take them back as prisoners?
I'm cool with that.
Sure.
That'll we kill them all and don't waste.
Well, I kind of said we'd let them live if they surrendered, and they did. So
I mean, you said that. I never said that.
There are quick paths to lawful evil, so you can,
Yeah.
take that road.
I'm not sure that's lawful evil.
Yeah, that's probably neutral evil or chaotic.
that is neutral at best.
I mean, listen, I can come up with 1,000 practical reasons why we should kill them now instead of letting a bunch of cultists run free. And
Great. We're not doing that. We're going to take them back to town.
Not running.
They'll say,
we're gonna
no,
walk all the way back to town.
we're not cultists. We're just hired mercenaries. We have no affiliation with those crazy people.
Well, all right.
Take their loot back to town? I mean, it's not their loot. We could return that.
I mean,
They
that would just take
actually,
their stuff
they're
and leave
not
it.
carrying any loot. These guys are,
Yeah.
they don't have any loot on them.
Yeah, but I'm thinking if we tie them up and take them back to town, they can stand trial.
That, and then maybe there's other stuff they can get from them.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're taking them back to town.
Okay.
Even though they're lootless.
I mean, we could just take their stuff and just let them.
My initial desire was to take them back to town. Now I really want to because Luke doesn't.
I mean, I just think it kills time, but sure.
These guys all
Well, we
have,
have to go back to town anyway and report what we found. You know, we were on a scouting mission Luke, a scouting mission.
Could have sworn that the mission was to just, go find them and then deal with them.
No,
but,
no, it's a scouting mission.
no. All right.
There are way too many to deal with.
I disagree.
Oh, sure. Betsy says scouting mission and Luke's fine with it.
I do not still, but we can still go with this.
He's
What
pretty
are
sure
the
he,
people of Greenus going to be able to do? There's not enough of them in order to make a full scale assault against a town of 300 people.
Well, no, but we're just gathering intel for the time being.
All right.
The 7 of us aren't going to be able to take them all.
It is a battle of attrition. We just pick them off a little group at a time.
Oh.
As you guys have gotten to know the little monk a little better, Nassim, he has kind of talked about the fact that his teacher Leosin has been tracking these guys for a long time, and he's affiliated with a couple groups that do have some strengths that might be able to counteract these cultists.
Cool.
So that might be something to add to your list. Is we're going to this keep or to this camp so we can try to find Leosin and see what happened to him. See if we can get him back.
Did you get that, Bets?
What was that again?
We're going to look for Leosin in the camp.
Leosin.
Okay.
He's the one that you guys figured out was the one who actually warned Greenus before they were attacked, and nobody believed him, but then he disappeared.
Right, the half elf.
So they think he might be a prisoner.
Yeah.
We'll have a prisoner exchange.
otherwise we
Well-
just try to get the entire 500 person army to stand in a puddle. And then our lightning boy can take care of them. Just all at once.
Go, brother.
Not that one.
Oh,
He's gonna throw grease in the water. That's not gonna help. We want the guy who can throw lightning.
well, grease can be electrified.
Grease light.
Throw fire. Light.
Yeah. You'll grease it and then we'll fireball it. All right, let's go back to town.
Okay, so you guys are gonna try to pack these guys up and go back to town. That's the plan.
Yep.
Well, how far are we from the town at this point?
You are about 7-8 miles from the town, and you're about 2 or 3 miles from the camp.
How
Okay,
many of
so
us are there?
How many what?
How many of us are there?
You've got
7.
7 plus the Drake plus the monk, the little monk.
Plus a little monk, right?
Oh.
And are these people wearing the cultist clothes?
No,
They
they
just
they just
wear
have leather armor, and I mean, if you search them, they all have longsword type things and
So
daggers.
they really are just hirelings.
All right. Well,
Yeah, they might have 2 gold a piece on them. If you do want to steal from them, you can probably get 10 gold off of them.
I mean,
We
that's-
prefer the term liberate.
We're definitely doing that. Betsy
well,
marked down
that's
10
not a
gold.
question.
Somebody's taking lessons from Les. These are the bad guys that looted the town, but if we strip them bare and take them back for judgment, we're stealing.
These aren't the ones that had the heavy footprints that you found on the tracks.
Whatever.
They're too lazy to be carrying all that loot.
Every little bit helps. They don't need the gold pieces in jail.
every little bit is drinking money.
Or I can take a page out of Scott's book and we are equity transfer specialists.
and they are just goods.
Or equity.
They're trade goods.
Okay, so you guys are gonna go back to Greenest? Is that the plan?
Yeah,
Yes.
but I assume we have rope, so tie them in a chain
We have a
And-
wagon too.
and force march them back to the city.
Yeah, Nassim has the wagon. Yes.
Okay, so we can just put them in the wagon. And then,
Wait.
Why are they in the wagon? No, they're walking behind it.
Exactly.
so we take even longer with this.
Oh, there's not enough.
We're
room
gonna
for
force
wagons.
march them. You heard it.
Okay, so hold on.
We
So-
move the wagon as fast as it normally goes, and they
Scenario
keep
if
up.
possible, we're going to try and make them walk behind the wagon.
Yeah.
No, we're going to pull them behind the wagon. Whether they walk or drag is up to them.
Why not just put them in the back of the wagon and then just have this be a much quicker way back to town?
Do we all have horses?
You all have horses and the wagon is drawn by, maybe 2 mules. So it's,
So how
Huh.
fast is the wagon moving?
Faster than they're gonna be able to walk.
no,
Why?
it's not gonna, no, you're probably looking at maybe 2 to 3 miles an hour. I mean,
Yeah, that's a walk. That's a walking pace.
Yeah, you're in grassland slash savanna for the most part, with some trees, some small wood areas. So 2 to 3 miles an hour is fast, actually. Well, it's probably 1 or 2 o'clock, and you've been going since this morning, and you guys have gone about 7 miles. So that kind of gives you an indication.
They're walking.
To go back to Greenus, it's going to take, you don't have enough room on the wagon anyway to put 5 of these guys, because your wagon is full of stuff. All the things you wanted to take with you. But you're looking at, if you camp out overnight, you can get there probably mid-morning, maybe say 9, 10 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay.
So let me roll. Okay. These guys do not attempt to escape. And with
You're wise of them.
Sayak's in the air, kind of guiding you along. There's, like I said, everything's pretty much cleared out of here because there was a huge war party that just went through this whole area. So you might see a mouse or a hawk flying in the sky here and there, but other than that, there's not a whole lot of activity around. So you're going to go back to Greenest and give these guys over to the governor?
Yep, and then report everything we found out. Find out if he wants us to go to the camp next.
Okay, yeah, he's not going to be 100% satisfied with the information you've gathered so far. He's wanting, you didn't get the when is their next attack? Why are they attack? Well, you got kind of why are they attacking? They're trying to get loot
For the dragon.
Yeah.
At least we get a hot bath.
You got names of the leaders, but you don't really have a whole lot of information about more than 1 or 2 of them and
Do we have numbers though?
where they're based out of. Well, you got how many there are, 300 to 500. These guys, again, they're not
Right.
high up. So
They're
don't-
birds.
Yeah, so a lot is basically what they're going to say. They're birds. So he's hoping for a little more intel than what you guys gave him, but he's very appreciative of the prisoners, and they will certainly try to interrogate them further to find out more. But
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll go back out to the camp and try to get the rest of the answers.
Well, a different camp.
Right, not this site.
okay, so you will go back out in the early morning. You can get.
So what's all on the wagon? Or what if we go out again without the wagon, we can travel faster.
I don't really remember what you guys wanted for the wagon or what you put on it. I know I said you guys could have whatever supplies you wanted, and you said you wanted a wagon. So maybe.
Well, I think we thought we were taking a road at first.
No, I
There
wanted
was
to
a
bag
corpse
so we can
collection.
hand back some shit.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, so we can handle. Okay.
So we can bring back.
Well, we now know that the loot that they took is going to be at a dragon's lair. So
Oh, he didn't. No, he didn't. Nobody said that there was a dragon at the camp.
He said that he was
Half dragon.
collecting loot for the dragon. You said that.
Yeah, you said that you were
Well-
they were looting to gather treasure for dragons.
For dragons, yes. Yeah.
so we assume it's already moved on.
Well, you can assume there's dragons in the camp, but
It was
don't
for
necessarily
the
know.
dragons, but there wasn't necessarily one there.
there was the only dragon you've seen so far is the blue dragon. The leader, Razim, he's a half dragon too. He's a black half dragon. He's not a dragon. He's one of the leaders of the cults.
The leader of the
As far as you know, what Nazim can tell you this. the dragons themselves aren't part of this cult of the dragon. The cult of the dragon is something that is trying to do something with dragons. It used to be, historically, they used to be a group that tried to resurrect dead dragons and control, dragon liches or worship them. And but to do whatever they were trying to do, I mean, take over the world, whatever.
Well, let's try to avoid letting them create dragon liches.
Yeah, but that's I mean, the guys you've talked to so far, they know nothing about that, or what.
Right.
That's what Nassim knows as far as a little bit of history of what this cult used to be or has been. Whether
Does
or
he know
not
what the name of the cult is then?
Hmm?
Does he know what the name of the cult is then?
I mean, it's commonly called the cult of the dragon. That's what.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do we know why they were attacking? Was it just for the looting to gather treasure for dragons, or were they attacking for another reason?
What the cultists said is they were meant to get as much loot as they could.
Okay.
To give to dragons, but they don't know why or what dragons or how many dragons. They don't know any of that. They've not really. I mean, they know as much about dragons as you guys do. They saw the blue dragon give them a little bit of assistance, but I mean, if you ask them, they'll say that dragon was an asshole. He didn't want nothing to do with any of the cultists.
The dragon was an asshole? Yes, that one.
Most are. So you guys are gonna go back? If you leave.
Yep.
You have lunch at Greenest. So if you want to go back at night, you can probably travel and get there the next day at night, or you can camp and approach the camp in the morning if you want to get there when there's light around.
Do that.
Yeah, that sounds smarter.
Okay, so you kind of travel through the day, get to a safe camping spot. You might even actually stay at this place. It's only a couple miles away. There's nothing there when you get there, so you could safely camp here.
There's a nice rock for a lookout.
Yeah.
Careful, it might be greasy.
Yeah, I'm avoiding the grease spot.
I don't know that nobody got hurt at all there. Nobody has spells to
Nope.
change or anything to do. So, okay. So the next morning you are a couple miles away and you will get up to Syax will tell you the land gets much rougher as the farther you get closer to this camp. There are a lot of, think of Garden of the Gods. If you ever been there, just real rocky with
Yeah.
windswept rocks and
Rocky with rocks. Extra rocks. Big rocks.
so at some point, oh wait a minute. Can't remember if I think I did. Some Syax will say that he thinks he's found the primary entrance into this camp. It's in a canyon that narrows, and there are definitely lookouts all around this place. And where the camp is, he's gotten fairly close, but he hasn't gotten too close because he's worried about some other flying thing seeing him. It looks like it's set down into kind of a horse-shaped or a horseshoe-shaped setting. There's a bunch of tents and a whole lot of people, humanoids and other things, other creatures. But the entrance into this place is a choke point, and it definitely looks like it's going to be hard to get in through that area. But unless you have a way to fly, that looks like it's the only way to get in there.
Is there a map for a point of reference?
I was gonna say, do we have a map? Same thing.
I let's see, I can show you, let's see here.
These meaty crunches decided to come over.
Kind of show you this as a, so you guys haven't actually been here, but if you can imagine SciAx just kind of giving you a visual picture of it. That's kind of what it looks like. Give you a,
Which direction are we coming from?
you're coming from the northwest, where it opens up on the upper left corner of the screen. Yeah, there's a valley canyon kind of opening that opens up into that. Let me try to get some clear text.
Should we try and get to higher elevation?
Are we able to without getting spotted?
Being a range type, I'd love to be higher elevation.
Yeah.
We could potentially go north.
Well, you have to, I mean, where you're coming from, there, like I said, there's, unless you try to scale these cliffs, and they're not easy to scale. And there are a couple towers like this thing here. Can you see that?
Yeah.
That's a
Wait,
tower.
I missed it. Where?
See the flashing green light?
Yeah, shrink,
Oh, there it is. Okay.
make your map smaller. No.
I did. Yeah, I see it now.
And there is also, and
Should we take the people out in the tower first?
Yep.
Shouldn't we clear the tower?
Yep.
well, keep in mind, if you're going to do like a full frontal assault, like taking the tower, that's going to eventually alert a whole bunch of
Everybody,
people
yep.
that you guys are doing something. So if you're doing a recon mission to get information, trying to take anything out, I mean, especially a watchtower, that's not going to be.
So where's the nearest source of water? Can we wait by wherever they're going for water, cleaning, drinking? Is there a stream nearby? We like,
You don't see any streams, actually. You have to assume there's probably a well somewhere in the area. All of the little white things are tents.
yeah.
But you keep in mind, this is just what SciAx is telling you as you interview her or him. You're not up here, and this whole area, I mean, there are.
They can't be hunting in there because there's too much going on. So they've got to be leaving to hunt. If not water, then it's got to be food that's driving them out.
You know, this isn't a hunting area. It's just a place where there are a lot of tents and a lot of people.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is rather than going in, we wait for someone to come out like a hunting party or something.
Well, I mean, there's still, well, it's a day, probably everybody's back in the camp now. So yeah, there's not a whole lot of activity out, but there will be hunting parties and that kind of thing. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Fine.
So one of the things that we want to try and do is rescue that one dude, right?
The half elf monk.
Yes, the
Yeah.
half elf monk. So should we try to find some way to figure out where he is within the camp and then try and extract him? Get in, get out as quickly as possible. Because I mean, otherwise I'm not sure what exactly we're going to be able to do here.
You guys can walk around the perimeter of this camp, above the cliffs, and you can kind of do some recon. There are going to be chances of being discovered, but there's not a whole lot of vegetation up there either, so there's not a lot of cover as far as if you probably would want to do that at night and try to get a feel for how many enemies are around and what the watches are and that kind of thing. The other thing, I mean, basically SciAx will tell you this is the only entrance other than climbing steep cliffs into this place. And I mean, there's not like a bunch of people going in and out, so you can walk down it, but at some point there is an area that has several people that are kind of hanging out. It looks like a choke point where they are set up to, ambush anybody that tries to come in here that they don't recognize.
Who's our best climbers?
Say that again. What would you say, Luke?
Who's our best climbers?
Oh, best climbers. So
Not Lama.
yeah, these cliffs are pretty secure. They're, I mean, you would have to be trained in climbing more. It's not just going to be an athletics check. It's going to be something that you would have to have trained for. Anybody who has a thieving skill, I would allow to try it.
So I've got rogue type skills. What would it be? It would be a core body.
Yeah, hang on, let me.
I don't know how many points it would require for me to get this, but considering my background of being a messenger in the mountains, would I be able to say that I'm good at rock climbing? Because I mean, I imagine that that's got to be relevant at some point.
Yeah, a second. I just want to look at. So Balthazar, your expertise for thieving is under mind. And that's again, that gets kind of back to what you were more of a like a pickpocket thief, weren't you, Mike? You didn't really have
Actually, Balthazar was.
a street kid, right?
Yeah, but as far as rogue skills, he didn't have the whole gambit. He typically had just the disarm traps, pick locks thing, and stuff.
Right.
That was kind of all he didn't have. The pickpocket, didn't have a lot of climb, didn't have,
Okay.
Just breaking and entering.
pretty much, yeah. That's he was good at that.
And that's where your expertise as a thief was undermined. So that would make sense that it would be more.
Because yeah, it's more.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's more picking.
More
locks.
studied technique, right, than Dex.
Yeah. Does anybody have any kind of, climbing skills or basically burglary? A burglar who climbs brick walls to get into homes, that kind of thing is more of that would be a skill that would be useful, but otherwise.
I mean, I grew up being a messenger in the mountains. Would I have been able to learn rock climbing skills at any point during that?
No. I mean, none of
Not really.
I can build a wall with bodies.
You guys do have rope. I know you could, you can definitely do some rappelling or falling somewhat slowly.
I have a point in horse riding. Would that help climbing?
It would in Skyrim.
Just throw the horse over and land on it. But again, this is a highly populated camp. Let me go back to so there are lots of people around here. I mean, even at night, there's a lot of activity. You can kind of get a feel. Let me draw you guys over there again. There's a big area kind of it towards the entrance. That's where the kobolds all are. And they kind of keep to them.
So Luke kind of alluded to this. Did the prisoners we took back all have the same colored cloak on?
No, they did not. No, they're not. They were not dressed in any kind of.
Okay, they weren't true
They were just
cultists.
mercenaries, yeah.
Yeah, they were just mercenaries.
That's what I was trying to preemptively do, was assume that they had the same clothes. But
I gave you credit. I said Luke. Luke alluded to this.
I appreciate
I mean,
it.
if that's the case, if they are mercenaries, wouldn't we be able to just wear their robes and come in? They wouldn't notice us.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we could also just
To
try and
some-
walk in.
To some extent, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a Drake, so I guess we could theoretically just like,
That too. Yeah.
pretend that we mugged some people on the road. And then we could try
Unfortunately,
that, I guess.
The
Yeah.
fact that you guys went back to greenness, you kind of, I mean, it was a huge straggling party where security was kind of lax, but now pretty much you didn't run into a whole lot of anybody on the way here again. All the stragglers, you know, they ate their rabbits in the fires and they all went back. So everybody's back into this place now. So it's the security is not as lax as it was a day ago, basically is what I'm saying. So there's not going to be a,
Well, good. We want a challenge.
I mean, you can try to be,
Right.
there's still a whole bunch of mercenaries in here. So you can try to look like mercenaries and get in here. It's just a matter of whether you can pull that off.
We have an ambush Drake, or I mean, we have a Drake, so hopefully that would be somewhat convincing.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing to keep in mind is you guys consistently at Greenest stood out as a party that was not from town, but killed a whole bunch of these cultists.
But was it at night?
And the final, yeah, it was at night, yeah, but the final thing between the half dragon, I mean, Llama was out there pretty much in all of her glory with everybody watching.
Damn it, Llama. You screwed
True,
us.
Mamba was, but some of us were more ranged and didn't really get into full frontal
Yeah,
combat.
some of you are not so, some of you would definitely be able to camouflage a little easier, but the rest of you, if you go in as a party or like Llama, definitely, there's a good chance, and you guys are going to know this, there's a good chance that most of the people in here are going to recognize her that were in
He
green.
converted.
I was just out there getting lucky, getting lucky.
Yeah, she's a celebrity.
Okay.
She's signing autographs in their blood.
Now you got another line to deal with.
So
People
Gordon,
lining up their autographs.
these cliffs here from like this position, they don't start a few, I don't know, yards, a mile or two away as like a slow incline towards that cliff. Like you couldn't go back a certain ways and kind of angle it towards where on top of the cliffs. Or is it just like this weird box canyon in the middle of nowhere?
It's a box canyon basically. Yeah, I mean there's the climbing difficulty to drop down from the top to the bottom is it's going to take some specialized skills, or I mean you can do it with a rope like I said, but again it's a highly populated area, so there's going to be risk if you try to just drop into the middle of this place. Now as far as doing recon, like I said, if you go around at night and you try to figure out, there's going to be patrols, and you'll be able to figure out at some point, you know, what kind of regularity they have if they do. And this is, from what you've seen, these guys are not real regimented. They're not highly trained soldier type people. I mean, the mercenaries you run across, they're very lax and very disorganized. They're not part of the higher levels of cult. You haven't really run into a whole lot of organization that you've seen so far, and Syax hasn't seen that yet either, but right now you don't know what's going on.
Mhm.
So Llama, it's a box canyon. We haven't boxed in.
Quick, set up a line,
Where's the line? That's all she
Yeah.
asks.
set up a mile-long line, and then just start slaughtering them all.
I mean, you've got basically an ambush point. You can just have them all come out one at a time and kill them all, you know?
We ask him nicely.
That's how it works in video games.
Yeah.
Hey, Llama, I drew the line.
I missed
There's
it.
the line, kill everyone behind it.
That's a
Anyone
pretty
crossing
wide
that
line.
line?
It's a pretty wide line, but I'll do my best.
It's a very wide line.
So Syax saw this tower when he was flying around.
Mhm.
Did he see a way that they got up to the tower? Because there's got to be a way up for them to switch rotations for that tower, or it's just empty.
Yeah, he's not done enough recon to figure anything like that out. I mean, he's just basically flown away around far away. I mean, he can do that, but it's going to be a matter of, you know, spending time and trying to figure out exactly who's up there, what kind of rotation they're on, and that kind of thing, where they come from, where they go to.
On that
There's
Joe.
another tower too. I don't know why it's not on this map. Oh, there. See the inset on the bottom left hand. See the two X's? Down here, there, and there.
Yes.
So there's two towers in this place. So this is kind of a more far away view. It kind of shows the horseshoe a little better. And this tower is equivalent to this tower.
Then there's this one down here.
Yeah, I guess, I'm not sure if this tower is maybe farther down, like over,
Looks like there's only two.
yeah.
Well,
but-
this
Yeah,
is
there's
it.
two towers, yeah.
So your choke point is down.
Here.
Yes.
Choke point is down here. It's not, the big map doesn't really, like over here, that's not the choke point. The choke point.
Yeah.
Right.
Farther,
It's
farther
further
down.
down.
Yeah,
And
The
then
good news
there's,
is it's smaller.
yeah, and then there's a tower kind of before the entrance. So before this big map, maybe up over in here, there's another tower, and then this one is kind of a tower over the whole other side of it. And one thing that Sax did also notice, there's a dark spot over here. Where she has seen, or he has seen things could congregate at times, so he
Where?
thinks it could be a
Say
mine, right here. Could be a mine, it could be just a cave. There's definitely something going on in there too.
Well, either we move in at dark or we just scout for.
well,
them.
they have an advantage at dark because most of them have dark vision.
I mean, they have the advantage almost every single way here.
The kobolds have dark vision, the humans don't, and there's a lot of humans in this place.
Okay,
So looking at the overlay map in the lower left corner,
uh-huh.
it looks like this is what, a big grove of trees?
Yeah, but it looks like it stops a ways before
Well, right. but
tower.
It looks like if you got into the big grove of trees in this end, you'd have a good view of whatever this tower is and a bunch of the tents to see. I mean, if the whole idea is just to gain understanding of their movement timings and stuff, because I mean, we've already sort of been told trying to assault this place, it's 300 to 500 people. We're all going to die horribly. So that's not
Right.
It's not what we're after. So it seems like all we're really after is to not be seen and gather some information. And if we're in this woods and can remain unseen from the tower, we can see what sort of general movements they have going on.
Dragon can
and-
fly, right?
And if anybody comes out far enough down this line, like say to here, then we can try to take them out and ask questions.
So to answer your question, Chuck, the green stuff, I think is really more. So the choke point is here.
Might be able to fly.
See that little area?
Yeah,
The green stuff is gonna be on a higher level. It's not as high as the canyon area where the camp is. But there's like the pathway into this place is much narrower. It's just kind of like the real bright, kind of white, light green area.
no,
So this stuff on the side, it's all stuff that's higher up as it goes kind of up into the canyon.
right. But at some point, like way back here, there has to be sort of a gradual ascension of that.
Yeah, back there, it's open.
So that's what I'm saying. If we were able to get up in here, we could collect information for schedules and movements and things of that nature without being seen, right?
There's a chance. Yeah. I mean, like I said, this whole area up around, like all up around the whole area. I mean, that's not the camp. It's not populated. There are watch people that walk around there, but you'll have to just figure out. Tell you what, we're pretty much at 10 o'clock now.
Yeah.
Let me write a little flavor text with SciAx doing some more recon, and then we can a little bit more give you a little bit better idea of what you're dealing with, and then you can decide how you want to how to pursue it next time.
All right.
Sense.
Okay.
right.
Am I calling you, Mike, or sticking around here?
Call me.
Okay.
All right. Night, guys.
Right on.
Bye, everybody.
See you guys.